Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. So today I put on a very twee outfit, and I don't know if you can see the skirt it's not floor length, but it's more like tee length, and it's very poofy. I'll try not to have the crinoline make too much noise while I do this video. But I thought, since I'm doing a video today on flowers in the attic, that I would put on some pastels. I don't have a lot of pastels in my wardrobe, mostly black, but I just got this little party dress and I couldn't resist. So maybe I'll do a full length shot of it as well so you get to see it. But I'm going to be wearing this party dress for an upcoming party on August 20th here at my studio, and it's a night of music. So this had been planned for, I don't know, a while back. I mean, I had it planned, and then because of COVID, we decided not to do it. So gosh, I mean, we're talking years, a couple years by now, which is really mind-blowing. But I had a party for my birthday last summer. So this summer, it's around the time of my birthday. Just a hint, if you want to send us a card, the address, as always, is in the description below. So this year I wanted to do music. So I have a bunch of bands, and I'm going to do a live Instagram post that night. So you can follow me on Instagram here. And I don't know how long the live's going to be. I'm not that great about doing live stuff. But at some point in the night, I'll be turning my camera on my phone on with going live on Instagram, and we'll do a little tour about what's happening. So follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up to date on that. And what else? Oh, well, I guess this is kind of important news. I have a new book coming out. Now, as I had said before, since December, I've been basically releasing a book a month, except I didn't get my July book out. I did update my Kindle Vella story, Hyperia Rising, but I didn't finish it. I also went back on my word about Wattpad a little bit. I'm, logged into my long neglected Wattpad account. I didn't completely delete the account. And I added my story, Black and Blue Ivy, to that platform rather than Kindle Vella. I feel like it's a much better home for it while I develop the story. So I'm a little bit going back to Wattpad a bit. I also miss my old friends on that site. So I've been reconnecting with them a bit this week. But the big news is my book, Code Red, which won the Waddy Award for Best Horror Novel in 2020. It's been re-edited. I worked very hard on trying to get it as polished as possible, and I'm still doing the final polish, but it is now up for pre-order. I love this cover by Elder Lemon Design. He really makes beautiful covers, and I really like the story. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm ready to get it out there, and hopefully people will discover it and enjoy it. This is an adult story. It takes place in Southwest Virginia. It's an Appalachian vampire story about vampires taking over an asylum for troubled teens in coal country in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. So it's kind of a horror hoedown. And I had a lot of fun writing this. I picked the brain of my husband, Joe, because he is from Virginia, and he also plays banjo and is very familiar with that kind of hillbilly culture. That's his background, and very proud of it. So I picked his brain on a lot of sayings and just had a lot of fun putting this work together. So, of course, I will link it below so you could pre-order it. I would love to get some pre-order sales. I'm also going to be shipping out some advanced reader copies. So if you'd like one of those, leave a comment below and we'll see what I can do. I want to keep it in the US for now just because the shipping gets very expensive. It's like $20 or more to ship a book overseas. But let me know in the comments if you're interested. And of course, it will also be out in print on August 25th. So what have I been doing? Well, I did read Butterfly, V.C. Andrews' Butterfly, written by Andrew Niederman. This is part of the Orphans series. They're like very short books. This is all about this little girl, Janet, who gets adopted by this crazy lady who is a former ballerina who, because of a tragic accident, is wheelchair bound. So she can't dance anymore, but that's not going to stop her from trying to turn little Janet into a butterfly. This was a fun, short read. I can't wait to start on the next one. And you know what? I had a tear in my eye at the end of this, so I'm giving this one 4 stars because of that. And then I picked up a couple books at the thrift store. Here's a nice reading copy of one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite novels, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I don't know if you know this edition. It has a little step back. This is from the 90s, and I have an original first edition copy, which is not that rare because they printed quite a few. I read it many times. If there are any Secret History fans, I would love to hear from you. So I said I wanted to read more sci-fi, so I picked up a nice classic paperback version of Fantastic Voyage by Isaac Asimov. Never read this. I think I have the follow-up in hardback. Oh, and this I was really happy to find because I've always wanted to read this book, and this is a gorgeous copy, Zombie by Joyce Carol Oates. And I found this very cool, it's like almost like a pop-up book, and it was $2. This is called Dracula's Heir. There are wonderful little tin-type photographs. I'm going to spend a good part of my day today, when I'm not editing this video, going through this. Here's another one. I don't know what this is, another note. Like handwritten notes. It's very cool. I've had a couple books like this over the years, but to find one, and none of the parts are missing, and there's also like really cool illustrations. To find it in a Goodwill for $2 was the highlight of my day, and I kind of needed it. You know, one of those days where you're just like not feeling that great? I had one of those this week. I was just really, I think it was the heat. Today was actually beautiful, but I was feeling lethargic and just no energy. So finding that gave me a boost. So those were just some books I picked up. I also read, since the last time we spoke, I reread, rather, Garden of Shadows by V.C. Andrews. I'm pretty sure Andrew Niederman wrote this one based on Virginia's notes, possibly. It reads like one of his books, but I read that because I wanted to compare it to the miniseries. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. I absolutely loved Flowers in the Attic, The Origin. In my opinion, it was the best of all of those series, including the original Flowers in the Attic, the Lifetime ones. Some of the other ones felt a little cheap, like the costumes were anachronistic, to the time period. The attention to details in the costumes, and the costumes were very accurate. The automobiles, the interior settings of Foxworth Hall, it mostly takes place there, are incredible. They shot this in Romania, so the exterior shots, it's an incredible mansion. I don't know if the interior is the same location as the exterior because, they often switch that up or it's a set or something, but it's brilliant. I don't think that the main hall is a set though, because it's just too elaborate and really beautiful. So I loved the setting. The writing is really good. Now, yes, and I'm going to talk about some of the changes, so there may be some spoilers here. Just saying. This was a 4-part series, and each part is over an hour long, I believe. So it's a big project. The book itself is not that long, so there were things that were added. And sometimes when they add things or add characters, you feel like, oh, this is just padding. The writing in this is great. And some of the characters, like the main addition is this character named Nella, who plays the maid at Foxworth Hall. But she also has a family, and it gets into that a little bit with her family, that they live on the estate. She was a great addition. Her character, I thought, was really well developed. I wasn't familiar with this actress, Tashawn Williams. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I guess she's done mostly musical theater. But I thought she was wonderful. I could not keep my eyes off her face. Like, her face is beautiful. And she's a singer in real life. Well, she also is a singer on the show. And that might have been a little bit off track as far as the original book. But I liked it. I liked her character a lot. The lead actress playing Olivia was fantastic, and I didn't really know her either. I don't know if it's pronounced Jemima or Jemima Rooper. She was a great Olivia. I thought her acting was good, and it made it so, even though there were some majorly over-the-top campy moments, I felt like she was such a good actress that she anchored the part, she anchored the series when it was really going to fly off the rails, which it did in a couple ways, but I still loved it. There was one thing, though, that her character did that involves, is it a sheep or a lamb? That was ridiculous. There were a couple moments where I just laughed and thought, what the heck? I thought, and when she's like covered with blood. I mean, I guess the point is she's turning into some kind of like Greek tragedy heroine or something, but it was way over the top. You know, the Medea came out, you know, and it was like, okay. There were a couple things like that, but it was still great. So she was wonderful. And the actor playing Malcolm, let me tell you, I was obsessed with him. I'm like, he is the father, Malcolm, not the son. I was like, know that Malcolm is this terrible character, but when he was seducing Olivia in the beginning, I was being seduced along with her. And even when they did the age makeup, his whole thing, I'm like, this actor is so sexy and so gorgeous, and I've got the biggest crush on him. And then I found out, which made me love him even more, is that he's Jeremy Irons' son, Max Irons, and Sinead Cusack, I think her name is. Jeremy Irons is my greatest movie crush of all times. I think he's been eclipsed now by his son. Sorry, Jeremy. But I've always thought Jeremy Irons makes love on film like no man ever. Watch some of his movies from the 80s and 90s and you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, hello. Swan in Love, The French Lieutenant's Woman, Damage, just unbelievable actor, and seems to get away with it where I don't know if other actors could do it. I'm sorry, George Clooney, but Jeremy Irons all the way. So it's just funny that I just immediately developed this incredible crush on his son. But yeah, I did. Even when he got mean, I loved it. I thought the dynamic between Olivia and Malcolm was really well done. And I liked when she starts turning the tables on him. I think it's at the end of part 1 when she starts to turn evil and the lightning is going outside the windows and, you know, the music. Whoever directed this and wrote it really, really understood the material as far as the campy quality, the gothic romance quality, and gothic horror. It really got it, and I just so appreciated it. You know, when you see someone get it right, it's very exciting. So I can't recommend this series enough. So it's divided into 4 parts: the marriage, the mother, the murderer, and the martyr. Little alliteration there. So it basically follows the plot of Garden of Shadows, and Garland is played by Kelsey Grammer. He's great. The actress who played Alicia is wonderful. It's really how I pictured her in the book. So excellent casting. The same with Corinne. I thought her casting was perfect. She looked exactly like Corinne. There is a gay relationship, an interracial gay relationship that's written into the story. The whole ending up in a mental hospital is straight out of gothic horror. I thought that the whole relationship with the 2 young men was done well. The only thing, I thought that there was this one shot with the 2 of them after they hooked up, hanging out in the bed of a pickup truck at the garage. And it's a beautiful picture. Don't get me wrong. It was a beautiful picture, but I thought, no, they would not be out, where they're actually sitting outdoors in each other's arms. I don't care how isolated this estate is. Someone could drive by and see them. And it's not even the interracial thing. I think any openly gay relationship like that at the time would be much more secretive. That was my one thing which I thought, aside from the animal slaughter, was a little bit untrue. And there was another scene when Malcolm, toward the end of the series, when Malcolm is going crazy and Nella's husband shows up and barges into Foxworth Hall with a shotgun. I don't think any man, even despite the unequal social positions, would barrel into another man's house with a shotgun, especially in the South. Just saying, I don't think that would happen. So there were some things like that that I thought were a little bit, but overall, it was great. I also really loved how they expanded the Mrs. Steiner character, who is in the book, but in the series, she becomes more of a Mrs. Danvers from Rebecca character, like super evil. Loved her. She's played by Kate Mulgrew, who was one of my favorite characters on the soap Ryan's Hope. Does anyone else remember Ryan's Hope? I know I'm dating myself, but that was one of my favorite soaps because it was about an Irish family, and I was from a partially Irish family. Oh, I also loved The Poison Garden. That was really creative, and that works into the plot as well. I thought that was great. I'm like, I want to stumble upon a poison garden. I love how the gate had a skull, you know. It was really good. I loved it. And there's even a scene, I don't want to give it away, which is like straight out of Mommy Dearest, where Olivia's digging a grave, you know, in her evening gown, like, Christina, bring me the axe. Oh, and then the last episode really veers dangerously close to black comedy. It just starts to cross that line a little bit with what happens to Malcolm, because I laughed really hard when that happened, and you'll know what part I'm talking about. It's not in the book. I don't think it's in the book. I mean, it might have been in one of the other books, but I don't know. Someone will correct me, because we always have those Flowers in the Attic fans who know so much more about it than I do. Oh, and speaking of Flowers in the Attic fans, you must check out I'm going to list his channel below, but I discovered while I was researching this stuff a great channel, Flowers87. It's completely devoted to Flowers in the Attic, and he works at the location for, I think, the first movie, the one with Louise Fletcher, I believe. I might be wrong, but I've been going through a lot of his videos and really enjoying it. So definitely check out his channel. So let me know in the comments below if you've been watching The Origin, or if you plan to. I would love to hear your thoughts. So be sure to check out my new book release, Code Red, and I hope you join me for my party when I go live August 20th. I'll have more details on Instagram. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye!